Please take your seats quickly, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Hi guys, and welcome to 1 Minute Tennis Coach. Today I'd like to talk to you about the rhythm of the forehand stroke, and specifically the first movement to initiate the drive to the ball. This is sometimes confusing, and it's very often over-complicated and over-elaborated. I'm going to explain what it is, and then I'm going to give you a fantastic trick on how to acquire this timing chain instantly and to apply it and use it forever. When we make the forehand, we have the unit turn with the left arm across the body, the shoulders rotated, the weight into the right side of the body, etc. And we're into this position, and then as we drive through from here, the question I was asked by one of our subscribers was, what's the initiating move? Now, if we move the hips, the arm and the racket together, we'll make a perfectly solid and safe stroke. But it will be limited in power because the arm is not being thrown forwards. The arm is either initiating or moving in synchronization with the body. What we want to do is have the body lead the stroke and then the arm be dragged through, creating a whip-like super fast motion. Something like so. Now, what's really happening in there is that the first movement of the stroke is the hip, and the hip will rotate, opening the shoulders and engaging the pectoral muscles and then the deltoids, and this then creates internal shoulder rotation, and the racket is whipped through to create the incredible speed and spin of the modern forehand. But this knowledge doesn't always help us too much. I mean, understanding how something works doesn't mean that I can do it. I understand the principles of playing musical instruments, but I can't play a musical instrument. I understand the technique of skiing, but I'm not a good skier. So I want to show you a little trick that we put together for you to acquire this timing chain instantly. Players of all levels can struggle with this. If you look at Baptista Agut, the fantastic Spanish player, then his backhand is unbelievably powerful, but his forehand is maybe 20% slower than the best forehands in the world. And so he has great success, but he's never really going to be challenging for the big titles. His timing chain on the forehand is out. He begins the stroke with the arm and the hip synchronized. If he changed this, then he would get considerably more power, but the stroke wouldn't change. Now, I only mention Agut because it shows that this is very difficult to acquire, and it applies right the way through all the levels of the game. But when we look at acquiring rhythm, the best people for teaching rhythm in the world are dance teachers. So I think the best way of you acquiring rhythm in your forehand is to find the dance of the forehand. Now, I'm going to put my hand on my hip to emphasize the motion. So we go into our first turn, our unit turn, and now I'm going to put my hand on the hip. And what should happen is that as the hip and chest opens, the racket will drop back into the lag position. And it looks something like this. And what I suggest that you do to get the feel of this is to go into your unit turn take back, put your hand on the hip to feel the motion more. And now make sure that the hip moves first and the racket drops behind. So you're actually separating and increasing the size between the hip and the racket head. Repeat this a few times and then whip the racket through, and you'll feel the lightning speed as the body moves first, and then the arm and then the racket is sequentially ripped through following it. Once you've tried this a few times, then I suggest that you do the dance with the hand on the hip and then the dance from the normal position. So it looks something like this. Unit turn, and now first the dance, then the movement from here, and then the stroke. Once again, just to demonstrate one more time, unit turn, the dance with the hand on the hip, the dance from the stroke, and then the stroke. Try this now in your game or your player's game. It's a great way of getting the feel of the forehand. Once you've practiced this several times, then you want to have practice with the ball, but in a very, very controlled situation. Controlled, careful, hand-fed balls, or maybe with a ball machine. And then steadily you'll be able to bring it into your game, and you'll see how the dance of the forehand will energize your forehand. It'll be more powerful, but it'll also be more safe and more secure with increased racket speed and increased spin. I hope this works for you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. It makes a big difference to us. And if you need more help with your game, remember we do one-to-one online consultations. We do detailed video analysis and a complete biomechanical breakdown of all of our clients' games. It's a unique service and it really makes a difference. Thanks for watching and see you next time.